most motherfucking fucked up shit that you've ever seen on the web. I am your host, Unrested, and if you're here for the fear and the host with the grossest, you've come to the world your parents have warned you about. It is motherfucking Saikodump! Welcome to Unrested's Top Shock Disturbing Video Picks. This is my own personal picks and my own personal opinions. You may have your own. Trying to argue that you know what's better is a moot point. Some of the rules that I have made for myself on this video are the following. All videos must be contained within YouTube due to the fact that if we get into things like live leak and reality documented, it's probably not going to be allowed to be showed on YouTube. Also, if you've probably noticed from watching a few of the clips within this, I've sped up the video, I've altered the video, I've also taken away a lot of the sound and the music due to the fact that I cannot claim copyright on these, I cannot take possession of these are not my videos, I have not made anything in here aside from the editing that made this entire video. I will give all the artists credit for what they have made here. I will also attach links in the bottom in the notes. Please show these people your patronage and watch everything that they have made. They are all very talented artists who deserve your views. So that brings us to, why do we watch such creepy and disturbing videos on the internet? You must like them or you wouldn't be here watching Saikodump. Well, I think it has to do with flight or fight syndrome. You get in that mood where you're cornered by something you don't want to see, that horrifies you, that causes you to panic, and you get that adrenaline rush. Now, you've got flight, which means you're going to pause the video, possibly change the video, or completely go to another page. Then you've got that fight. You're going to fight through every single image you see and just hope with every fiber of your body, something too grotesque or too horrifying does not appear on the screen. Let's be honest, the pause button makes us all brave warriors of the deep, dark sea of porn we call the internet. And it also makes these the most disturbing videos Unrested has chosen. Come view if you dare, but viewer, beware. So I'm going to start us off with a video that's quite gory, quite graphic, and if you're not a fan of the splatterpunk factor, you may want to just skip to the next one. This one doesn't really even have a title, aside from the fact that it's just called 8mm footage of real-life possession. You can look it up via that title on YouTube. Even for the description, we're not given very much. It says, not much is known for this footage other than a family from Iowa had discovered in the attic of their newly bought home. The husband was the first and only member to watch the video, refusing to let the rest of his family see it. In parentheses, I don't blame him. I came in contact with them a few years ago through a family friend. They all know I've been into the paranormal for a long time now, and I figured it would be something I was interested in. After having the footage for 30 plus years, they were kind enough to give it to me. It is by far the most intense possession-related footage I have ever witnessed. Aside from that, there's not much on this. Be warned, it's graphic. Our next video is kind of a collage of videos, a montage, a group, a cluster, whatever you want to call it. It's hard to narrow it down to just one. For the Russian drug known as Krokodil. Krokodil is a synthetic version of heroin, which sometimes the users know its aspects due to the fact that they mixed it themselves, but other times people have bought it thinking it's heroin and finding out later they've gotten a chemical substitute. This drug can be made by mixing together all different types of store-bought chemicals, some of which include, if I am not incorrect, gasoline. Putting this kind of stuff into your body obviously does not have good effects, but the total aftermath is far beyond what someone might imagine. The reason it is even called Krokodil is due to the fact that it leaves the skin gangrene and scaly with scabs, all different types of degradation of the entire flesh of a person's body and organs break down under the use of this stuff, only for a couple minutes worth of high. It is first started in Russia and is slowly making its way over to the States. An absolutely devastating drug, and any video you watch surrounding this drug is just utterly grotesque. We're talking about limbs, arms, hands, fingers falling apart, looking like they're a flesh-eating virus tearing them down. The people literally look like corpses who are using this stuff, and on top of it, it's utterly destroying their life, their livelihood, and even just their overall well-being. Anything and everything you will watch on this, including the Vice-made documentary, is utterly and completely disturbing.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you. Gentlemen,
Our next piece is a very unique and very twisted claymation by the artist Lee Hardcastle. He has done many a claymation movie short, and you should check out his channel just to see some of the gory work he has made. In this one, we have a title called Nightmare. It's a wonderfully started video by first showing us all the characters' profiles, and then we get to watch how their night in a haunted mansion unfolds. Now, if I were to tell you the fate of each person, that would ruin it for you, because that is the best part of this video. Watching our characters get dissected, vivisected, and torn apart is an amazing thing to watch, even though it seems as though the quality of the clay has been toned down to keep this more rough and gives it an even darker tone. It seems as though the rough edges and very hard molten sides of each claymation figure has to be rough to make this seem less like a childlike claymation and more something that takes us into a darker realm created by Mr. Hardcastle himself. The next bit of footage is called the Bitterroot footage. Although it's not as gory or splatter-filled as the other footage that you will see in this video, it is mysterious, and that's what makes it so creepy. Apparently, this is a piece of footage that's half surrounded in mystery and half surrounded in the world of reality. Nonetheless, there has been a creepypasta written about it that goes a little something like this. A man who had just moved into an apartment for college was in need desperately of some furniture, whether it be new or used. Putting an ad in Craigslist, he got a piece of furniture along with an entire house set from a man who was trying to get rid of everything as fast as possible. When going through the bureau that came with the set, he found a strange wooden box with 8mm film inside. Him and a friend popped it open and eventually wanted to see it desperately enough that they bought an 8mm player on eBay. They put the film together by taping it and splicing it, and eventually watched what appeared to be one of the creepiest videos they had ever seen. Experiences of what they saw inside said that it seemed as though another person was spying on the person being filmed, who was a person in a dark cloak near what they called a mini castle. They watched the next clip of what looked like a man wearing a long cloak walking towards a building. It was filmed from far away, like the filmer did not want to get close. The first 30 seconds of the film was nothing but the inside of the building, and then slowly the next clip of the man in the room. Although it wasn't an ordinary room, the room was very dirty, and the man was sitting on a chair with a table and a bowl. He was stirring it like a witch stirring a cauldron. The scariest part was on the ground next to him was a bag about 5 to 6 feet long. It seemed to be writhing and moving about as though a body were inside. The next clip of the footage toured around a little bit, but not inside the house. Instead, it went around the room. The man was gone at this point, but the person filming found a room filled with all different types of old rotting bodies that you could see in glass jars, boxes, or chambers. The clip then finally changed and went back to the woods again and showed the man walking in the far distance. The filmer was slowly walking towards the man. The clip changed again, but the scenery didn't, like it was another shot. It showed the man with a little bag in his hand, walking towards a little tiny ravine. He tossed the bag into the ravine, then slowly walked away. After the man was gone, the filmer slowly walked towards the ravine. He saw the bag. It actually wasn't a bag. It was an object wrapped inside a piece of cloth. The filmer picked it up and unfolded it to reveal the object inside. It was what looked like a very misshapen head that had been horribly beaten. After this, the next clip showed the filmer running away as fast as he could. The following video is a suicide documented on tape by one Ricardo Lopez. Also known as the Bjork Stalker, he was an Uruguayan-born American, a pest control officer at Hollywood, Florida, who is known for his attempted assassination of the Icelandic musician Bjork. This happened September 12, 1996. Lopez recorded a video diary of himself talking about his plans over an 8-month period, culminating in this video, which was a recorded suicide. Lopez mailed a letter bomb disguised as a book from a touring company and rigged it with sulfuric acid to Bjork's residence in London. The bomb was intercepted by Scotland Yard before being able to harm anyone. By the time of Lopez's death, Lopez had left an 800-page diary and 18 hours of footage of himself talking to the camera and making the bomb he planned to send to Bjork. With the following video, I couldn't settle on just one, and that is because almost everything Eric Foreigner, also known as Shaye St. has made, is absolutely inspirational to me as a Saikodump member. Part of the reason I started Saikodump was from the inspiration and glory of the Shaye St. videos. For those of you who don't know, Shaye was the brainchild of Eric Foreigner, a Los Angeles resident associated with the California Institute of Abnormal Arts. He has a low-tech do-it-yourself approach and made these do-it-yourself Shaye St. project videos, not too surprisingly, from his influence from 1980s punk and metal. In his younger days around Bloomington, Indiana, Foreigner was involved with bands like The Blood Farmers and Skelligore. His sense of humor clearly was always a major part of his endeavors. Unfortunately, if you don't already know, Foreigner died on February 25th, 2010. He was 42 years old. A great RIP goes out to him, and I want everyone to watch these videos knowing it was a massive inspiration on Saikodump itself.
Now I am become death.
Our next video is a video by a man whose name I will most likely mispronounce, and that is Cyriak or Cyriak. It is spelled Cyriak. If someone wants to make a video and yell at me for mispronouncing it incorrectly, I am so sorry, yet I so don't care. The name of this video is actually called Poo Pants, which some of you might scream at me, Unrested. That is a super immature title. Why do you like this video? Well, besides for the creepy and disturbing fact of how it disproportions the human body and distorts the face of those we love and care about, it also gives a great big middle finger to the fantasy life that modern middle-class white-collar commercials create. I don't know if that's 100% the message that this thing is trying to dictate to us. Nonetheless, that's the way I observe and perceive it, and I like that imagery quite a bit. Go check it out, Cyriak, Poo Pants. He is a guy with a lot of chops and props. Actually quite famous at this point, has done a video for Block Party and has even more to his name. Way more popular than yours truly. Definitely check this guy out. This video is called Crooked Rot and is one of the many videos made by the utter genius of the artist known as David Firth. You may know him from past creations when the internet was still fresh and in its infancy with Salad Fingers, a very, very dark, some might say gothic-esque type commentary that was both humorous and utterly sarcastic with its use of everyday and modern mainstream media. Mocking anything and everything it came across, it did an incredible job at keeping the viewer both interested and utterly infatuated with Salad Fingers, his main character. If you haven't already watched those older Flash videos, I highly suggest you go ahead and Google Salad Fingers right now. Very, very interesting. First infant born type fresh media when the internet was just breaking into the 90s. These videos here that he's made recently deal a lot with stop motion animation and make quite a bit of creepy montages of very dark, kind of industrial mixed with gothic imagery. It's incredibly well done, well crafted, and even the pacing of everything he puts into these is just absolutely magnificent. If you haven't checked out David Firth before, I highly suggest you check out everything he has. I'm gonna start this video description out by saying I really don't know if I'm supposed to call the band that had this video made for them DYE or Die. Either way, it is an amazing animation. Obviously rendered by someone who has incredible skill. What starts out as nothing more than a couple of teenagers getting into hijinks in their school pool turns into something that could possibly be called chthonic, as in Cthulhu, as in dark world gods coming into our realm, tearing it apart and ripping the lives and limbs of those they touch into nothing more than a scattered mess of gore and body parts. Take a look and don't turn away, you'll be happy you did. Our next video arrives from a movie school in Jerusalem, surprisingly enough, and hits us with an incredibly beautiful juxtaposition of actual human actors mixed with giant bobblehead-like CGI heads. Now, these heads are really what take this film to the next level of creepiness. At first it seems almost comical, although the distorted looks and faces of the people involved seem so close to human-like features that we get fear from the uncanny valley. Those of you who don't know, the uncanny valley is a facial feature or a mask in which our brain does not know what to do with it. It doesn't know whether to be scared or enjoy it, and so it just makes us feel disturbed, like this video has. Now, this video, named just simply Smile, takes it beyond that and brings us into a whole new realm of wondering, what if we just push that uncanny valley to the next level and change it into something that we definitely see as creepy. They've taken these heads and distorted them even farther, as you see a very short but interesting and gripping tale unfold in this quick web short. If you haven't already watched the Smile video, I highly suggest you go out and check it now. We're gonna end the video with an oldie but a goodie. What seems to be nothing more than an innocent story with a simple title, The Cat with Hands, begins with a beautifully rendered stop-motion animation sequence in an old and wise man telling a fellow friend a tale that seems to be nothing more than a wives' tale. Little do we know, it's about to take a very dark turn, following the life of a mysterious cat who seems to have certain body parts that mimic that of a human. We watch as this innocent stop-motion animation piece slowly evolves into a dark horror bordering on the edge of splatterpunk. If I could go into this more, I would, but that would spoil it for you, the viewer. I highly recommend you check it out on your own time. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Saikodump. I have been, as always, your host, Unrested. Thank you so much for coming to visit the world that your parents warned you about. This has been motherfucking Saikodump!